everyone.
So we are so excited. Memory Rescue's out. It's doing really well, so we're so excited.
It's in Costco. I'm so proud of you.
Costco. We just got...
Super cool.
One of our employees sent us this great picture. But what we've been doing in these series of live chats is going through each of the Bright Minds risk factors. So Memory Rescue, based on one simple idea, if you want to keep your brain healthy, right. I hope you do, because that's really good for me.
I'm trying really hard.
Or rescue it if you think it's headed for trouble, you have to prevent or treat the 11 major risk factors that steal your mind. And we've talked about B,
blood flow.
R is retirement and aging. I,
inflammation.
G is genetics. H,
head trauma.
Today we're going to talk about toxins.
He's testing me.
Keeping your brain young.
We actually created recipes for all of these as well, so it's kind of fun.
It's amazing. In fact, if you go to Brain Fit Life, our online portal, we actually have all of Tana's recipes. And she was here in the office with me today, so I'm like, please do this with me. But I have to tell you, of all the things I learned in writing Memory Rescue, toxins are so important to stealing your brain. And toxins can take all sorts of forms. So when I first started doing imaging, it was clear to me alcohol was not a health food.
Right.
It's a toxin. So why do nurses put alcohol on your skin before you give someone...
bacteria.
And in your gut, you have 100 trillion of them. So you want to be careful with alcohol. THC
so
from marijuana.
When you say be careful with alcohol, I'm going to get hit with these questions. You're going to get hit with these questions. Everyone asks, what does that mean? How much can I have safely? Okay.
And so
less is
our
more.
recommendations, less is more, but 2, maybe 3 glasses a week, that's it. There are actually studies from Hopkins that say people who drink every day have smaller brains. And as we always say, when it comes to your brain,
size matters.
The only organ in your body where size matters. And marijuana is just not going green. I mean, every time I say that on my page, we get people hating me.
Right.
But
they beat us up, but you know what? We're tough.
But I have no dog in this fight.
Right.
I don't make any money from marijuana.
Not trying to ruin your fun.
I make a lot more money if people are smoking marijuana because they're more likely to be in one of our Amen clinics.
That was really wrong. That was just wrong. Okay, he did not mean that.
I meant it. So drugs, but it's not just illegal drugs like methamphetamine, cocaine, disastrous for brain function. It's some of the meds we prescribe, like Xanax and Klonopin and Valium and Ambien. You know.
And there's a misconception that, well, my doctor prescribed it, so I must need it. Okay, you don't have a Xanax deficiency. Just because it's prescribed doesn't mean that it's good for you.
Right,
so,
and even things like statins may not be really great for your brain. Right. But what I learned from doing imaging, it's so much more than drug abuse or even, doctor prescribed drugs. They're environmental toxins. Right. One of the best stories I have is this couple who failed marital therapy and everybody's telling them to get divorced, and it turned out he had a toxic brain from working in a furniture factory. And
how sad is that, right?
And, by rehabilitating the brain and getting him another job, it made a big difference for him. There's also general anesthesia.
Yeah.
I actually had someone tell me that. This week I was at our Atlanta clinic and gave a lecture. And he's like, after I had coronary artery bypass surgery, what's called a cabbage surgery, he said, I just cannot think.
Well, and my uncle just had open heart surgery, and I contacted him because he's not feeling very well. He's feeling off. Off is how people will sometimes start to describe it. He's moodier than usual. He's usually not a moody person. He's usually very, very happy. He's very religious, so he has this, big faith, and he's frustrated because he doesn't like that he's acting moody. He's more tired. He's more moody. He's got headaches, and so I contacted him. I said, "Look, I know that you had heart surgery, so people aren't talking about your brain, and I'm not quite sure why that is."
It's
but
crazy,
right?
Because it actually increases the risk of dementia. That's particular surgery.
Right. So I contacted him and I said, look, let's get through the first couple months of your, this acute part of it. Let's get you through the recovery phase. But then we need to bring you in, okay? Because I don't want you going around thinking there's something wrong with you. This is part of what happens when you go through what you went through, and there's something we can do. So that just having that hope.
Well, and Memory Rescue is like the perfect program for people who've had an insult to their brain. And anesthesia can, for some people, be an insult. Also, mold, just a very significant problem. Dave Asprey, in fact, I'm on Dave Asprey's podcast this week, his Bulletproof podcast for Memory Rescue, and we talk about his mold-filled brain.
Right.
And he then produced a documentary called Moldy that's really excellent. And then heavy metals.
Right. Tony Robbins came in because
of mercury poisoning, and so many people who think eating fish is really great for you, and it could be, but he was eating swordfish over and over and over.
But he only ate, fish was his primary source of protein for years, and so he was eating it with almost every meal. So that's where you can get yourself into trouble if you're not aware and you're not paying attention and you're not getting checked. So yeah, you need to know this. You need to know if you're having problems, get it checked.
Also, carbon monoxide. We have scanned many firefighters here, and almost all of them have toxic-looking brains because of the carbon monoxide, the cyanide, the toxic chemicals they breathe from a fire.
Right.
Along with pilots also are exposed, and stewardesses.
Yeah. Flight attendants.
Flight attendants are exposed to recycled air and some of the toxins that are associated with it. I know after I fly, I just don't feel right.
Me either.
She's always trying to get me to go to Europe or Asia, and I'm like, I just won't feel right.
But here's another point to that. You actually have a pretty strong immune system. He handles flying a lot pretty well. I don't. So when we have to do book tours and things like that, because of my history, because of those past insults to my health, it's guaranteed. I just know I got to boost everything going in, and I have to build that reserve before we go in. And you might be one of those people. Learn to build your reserve, because flying a lot for me, I know I'm going to get knocked out.
So when we do the immunity, you have to do it with me.
Right.
But, speaking of another toxin, it's cancer.
Yeah.
And chemotherapy for cancer is just not good.
Radiation
for your brain, and radiation, head and neck radiation, increase the risk for dementia as well. So, what are the 4 things you can do? Actually, let's do 5.
We always do that.
You have to decrease your exposure.
Yeah.
Which means eat organic, because pesticides can be toxic to your brain.
Definitely, most likely. Yeah.
Do you have an opinion?
I do. After being as sick as I've been, you got a lot of opinions. You need to take charge of your own health. You have to be your own health advocate. And pesticides, there's just nothing good about them. Well, I mean, we want to keep bugs off our bodies. But other than that, let's go as natural as we can.
You're so cute. I like when you get like that. You're just so cute.
I'm trying to be serious here.
All right, decrease your exposure. There are a couple of apps. One I like particularly, I talk about in the book, called Think Dirty.
Okay, I like Skin Deep. He likes Think Dirty. What does that say?
Something. That my brain and testosterone levels are healthy. That's what it says. So you can scan. So like, you should be reading food labels seriously. You're not reading food labels. What's the matter with you? You should also be reading the labels of the products you put on your body. And I never did that until I, wrote Memory Rescue. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, things like phthalates and parabens and fragrance, all are hormone disruptors. We're going to do a whole thing on hormones coming up. You don't want that stuff on your body, because this is new for me. What goes on your body goes in your body, and then becomes your body. So it is really important to not put, for example, I scan soft soap. I like soft soap. It's cheap, it's pretty, it smells nice. I like it. And then when I scanned it, these apps will tell you on a scale of 1 to 10 how quickly they're killing you. The products are killing you. It was like a 10.
Well, and that's the big surprise was, the stuff that I get that I love that is not cheap turned out to be some of the worst stuff. Eeks. So some of those really
I know,
like
we went
fussy,
into these healthy organic places and we were scanning the products and they're like 7, 8, 9.
right, but some of them are great. But
So
some
you
of my,
just
some of
have
those
to
department
read
store products are
the
really
labels.
bad.
Read the labels. Read the labels. And why don't so Suave is another brand, was a 5.
And
so
that's
between 5 or 10,
significantly better.
what am I going to pick?
Right.
And it depends on how much you love
So
yourself.
2 of the worst culprits, 2 of the worst culprits out of everything, and just about every one of them are bad. There's very few. There's only a couple that are actually okay, that are organic, and they don't go on as well. So you just have to know that, but you got to make a choice. Sunscreen and hairspray. They're just terrible.
Yeah, hairspray
They're
is
terrible.
not my issue.
And I'm not going to stop using it. I can't for filming. I just don't use it during the week. So I minimize how much I use it. Try to find the least toxic one I can find. Right?
You're so smart.
Those are the rules.
Those are the rules.
Rules. We have
Okay.
rules.
Also, you want to make sure that you avoid anything. And then, 4 things. You have to support your liver because it detoxifies your body. That's one of the reasons to get rid of alcohol. And there, the simple thing I talk about in Memory Rescue is eat brassicas. So brassicas are detoxifying vegetables.
And lots of water. And I love to add some
Wait,
lemon.
you're getting ahead of me. So brassicas, they don't know what brassicas are.
Oh.
So cauliflower, broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. So brassicas. So that'll help your liver kill the alcohol.
Okay, now, water.
Wait,
with
that's for your kidneys. That's for your kidneys.
No, it's also for your liver. It helps. You need to drink a lot of water to support detox.
Who knew?
So kidneys and liver. But you need to, because you want to be flushing your body out. But the warm water with lemon actually helps to detox. So it's really
And
good.
cayenne
for you.
pepper, too.
I put cayenne pepper in it in the morning, and I add a little fresh ginger.
So liver, brassicas, kidneys, water, your gut, more fiber. And probiotics can actually help as you get your belly right.
And
that
heal,
would be great.
heal your gut.
Okay. And then your skin, which means sweat. Sweat is absolutely essential. All right. We have to get going. Memory Rescue out. Pick up a copy. Leave a review on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com. We love you so much. Thanks.
Have a great week.